Hello and welcome to the volunteer orientation for 2024-2025. My name is Ed Leahy. I'm the director of the Omaha EITC Coalition. We'll be learning about everything that we do. Our theme last year was "You Are a Sign of Hope for the Community." We don't have our theme for this year yet. That usually develops based on what we're experiencing and or what tax law looks like for the coming year. So for the moment, we'll just recycle that old one, but that having a theme really gives us a force that brings us together as well. So there will be a theme this year, and feel free to offer suggestions. As per usual, it's always good to kind of start, what is volunteering all about? What does it mean? For some people, it's an amazing way to give back to the community. Many of our volunteers are former customers who benefited from the service over the years, and this is a way that they say, I want to help out, because they've seen the organized chaos that is tax season. And sometimes when you're watching that, you're just thinking, gee, I have some free time, I could help. More hands, lighter work all around. It's an opportunity to share your talents. Several of us in the room and online have done taxes for years. We have some experience with it. We know what's in and what's out and how to present certain things. Some of us have learned over the course of the last year what it's like to talk with people, and that's okay. A continuum of experience is perfectly welcome. Nobody has all the answers. In fact, what we often say is, you didn't prepare that return, we did, meaning it's a group effort. And so everybody's on board to help people and to ensure with as much accuracy as possible that they won't have any problems getting their refunds, unless it's from Iowa. It's a great way to meet new people from various backgrounds, and we do have a rather diverse customer body as well as volunteer core. So you will meet people who are different from you, different in ethnicity, different in religion, different in culture and language and other expressions, as well as just plain old different. And that's always fun too, to get to know one another and see what that diversity does for building a real team. It's for some a sense of togetherness that happens, because I'm not just at home. I'm not just working in a back room in a cubicle typing up tax returns, though we have that option if you really want to do that. That's our online version. Or it's just an opportunity to meet other people and feel like you're a part of something bigger. And that is really, really helpful. For others, it certainly is an opportunity to learn and understand taxes better. And really, study is an important part of this. I literally learn something every day. And then that's exciting in and of itself. And sometimes I go into that rabbit hole of what I just learned and realize, that's not helpful for anybody else. But it still leaves me with that aha moment. And that's always fun too. Learning should be fun. For some, it's a way of expressing their beliefs, their faith, their conviction that life should be more than what it is. This is not a religious organization. That is not a requirement. You may not recruit anybody to your particular belief section, but that for the giver can be a motivator. I want to do this because I believe in the goodness of humanity. I believe this is a sacred mission or something of that nature, and that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of different motivations, and as always, I don't like to be the only one talking. So if anybody has their reason of why you thought, gee, doing this for free would be really a great idea. You don't have to.
I was just gonna say the reason I started is I didn't have a lot of money. I started as one of the terrors. And this was some way that I could give back without having to blood out of my pocket. So
And learn a few tricks along the road, huh?
learn how to be fun.
Great.
But I'm using that learning too now that I get retired and older and all of this other stuff.
Well, and then they keep changing tax law every year, darn it. But there's not vast changes, so that's great. Thank you, Mary, for sharing. Anybody else or online don't want to hold up the train, but no need, not a mandatory question either. But it's a good thing to ask yourself, you know, why am I doing this? What am I hoping to get out of it? And identifying those things can also help you as the program goes on, as our training goes on, to deepen that resolve and open new doors to you. A little bit about us. We are very mission focused, and we tend not to drift much from that mission. And that is basically to help low to moderate income people become more financially empowered, meaning they understand where my money's coming from, how it got into my pocket or bank account, where it's going because of all the children that I have to support and the bills I have to pay, and what else could I be doing to have more money, and how do I save money? So that's not our mission, but that's my sense of it. And you'll see our mission time and again throughout training, because we do focus on that in a way that is also being a resource for the community. And so part of our walk-in day today was people who got a love letter, and one of the love letters clearly had nothing to do with this person's tax return. And it reminds me that last Thursday, the FBI announced that 2.9 million Social Security numbers are now sold on the black web. In other words, the Social Security number of everybody living and dead in the US for the last several years. So that is going to be a potential big issue for us in the year ahead. Identity theft has always been a major issue that we encounter as well. Someone else is joining us. Welcome, pásale. Está aquí para la orientación de voluntarios por otra cosita. So, tenemos una media hora más, y si gusta lo puede regresar o puede sentar y esperar un momento y le atiendo. Ok, gracias. Se puede sentar allá o regresar en como media hora. Muy bien. Gracias. Okay. It has been a walking day today. This is our team. Ginny is standing next to me, and then Liz is the beauty at the end with long black hair. Liz is our administrative assistant. Ginny's the assistant director, but none of us stand on titles. We try to work as a team to serve all of you, and we are available to support you before training, during training, after training, i.e. in tax season, and beyond. And so if you have a question as we are engaged in our studies and you find a time to work on your practice tax returns in the evening after the children go to bed and it's 11 o'clock at night and you're stuck with how do I get into this software again, you should call and say, how do I get into this software again? Because I don't want your dedicated time to study to be met with barriers that could easily be surmounted by a quick question. And so we are open to that. And sometimes I realize your schedule is different from my schedule, and if your house quiets down and that's when you can work, well, then that's a good time to also not get frustrated and abandon the project because darn it, I couldn't get the answer and never could sign in, therefore I'm not going to do this. Well, that's not the point. We're here to support you and to make that successful. This is what we realized in the last tax season, more than 4,400 returns, returning over 10 million in state and federal refunds. Volunteers giving almost 2,400 hours of time during tax season at our 7 locations to return even more money and services to the community. Really great. Since April 15th, we've done about 1,100 more returns. So it doesn't necessarily end. And some volunteers have continued their work in the summer. Some of them are providing food for the rest of us. Dick had to get his seed in and plants growing and harvest coming, and then he'll be sitting in front of a computer again in the winter time and there's nothing to do. So that's where we all come from, different walks of life. There are handouts of this flyer if you want to take one, but I don't stand on numbers that much. But it was a lot of work and helping a lot of people in a very compact time frame of only 10 or 11 weeks. So of that, about 34% of our customers actually received the earned income credit. We'll hear more about what that credit is. It's in our name. 52% of our customers own something, which is really good. The rest, I suppose, are renters or don't have much to their name or their accounts at the end of the month. There's too much month at the end of their money. And that's okay too. But we try to build that up for people. About 40% of our customers contributed to retirement plans. And that's really important to put some money away for the future, especially money that comes as a benefit for some employees, and that may even be matched by employers. So kind of looking for every available dollar that people can claim and reclaim for themselves. About 60% of our customers have some college education or experience. That's important. That was not when we started. Most of our customers, when we began in 2006, had a high school equivalency or less. Now, that doesn't mean that book smarts makes and paves the easy road, but it is a sign of progress and a sign of support that we've been able to provide. About 42% of our customers feel they are doing better compared to the previous year. That they want some more. And we hear time and again from customers similar statements like this. I followed your advice from last year. Not my advice, whoever served that person. And I changed my withholdings and now I don't owe taxes. That's a major victory, and that's a great place to start for some people. Sometimes it's starting with a bank account. Sometimes it's I finally enrolled online banking. All of those steps are progress, and we celebrate our customers' progress at every turn. So the earned income credit can represent as much as a 40% pay increase for most people. Like having your $15 an hour job and making it feel like $21 an hour. You don't get that day in and day out. You get it when you file your taxes, and those taxes that were deducted from your pay going to Social Security and Medicare are in part restored to you through this credit, depending on your income level and your family size. So earned income credit has often been identified as the most effective federal anti-poverty program ever. We're in a little over 50 years with this credit, and this credit has lifted more families, especially families with children, above the poverty level, at least for a while in the course of a year. That means that there is some breathing room in their budget. We want our customers to be able to claim every credit that they qualify for. And these are the credits that you'll learn about in the training courses, and that we especially look for through a rather extensive interview process that we conduct with customers. And, you know, I'm not going to go into the particulars about that, but the last square is really important. That's the state tax credits that might be a part or linked to the federal credit or having their own standalone credits. So, and that's where the interest from the news show came from with the end of the special session. And I don't know that they passed the property tax relief, but there's still an issue. 31% of all Nebraskans who are eligible homeowners claim the property tax credit. Of our customers, I want to say of the homeowners, that's closer to 100%. So I don't know who's not giving that credit, but evidently there is money on the table for people. And so we stand to help them as well. So we recruit two types of volunteers. Our first ones we call site navigators, because as I mentioned earlier, tax season is organized chaos. So we ask people to make an appointment during tax season that they can make on their own through our website. We publish our calendar beginning of January every year when we have a sense of how many volunteers we have and how many appointments we might be able to take per day. And then they can make their own appointment. They can call operators at 211, which is United Way's first call for help. You just dial 211, you say, I want to make a tax appointment, and they will set up the appointment for them. Navigators then check that appointment as they arrive at a site, orient the customer, make sure they're on the list, make sure they have everything that they need so they're not sitting here for an hour, half hour before and realizing, no, I don't have all of my W-2s. So they help with that intake process, looking at those forms, double checking them. We're all electronic, so we scan all of the documents that people have, and navigators fill in that role. There also are asset specialists. Last year we had brand new computers and some hiccups, so we never really got to the money menu, but this year everything works. So we made sure to do that. So we will have our money menu active in this year, which gives people the opportunity to get a free debit card, to conduct other screenings for affordable housing or other issues that a customer might benefit from, enroll them into savings plans, of which we have a few, coordinate with other professionals that are on site to offer credit counseling, credit reporting, or sign people up for regular financial management and financial education courses throughout the year. And we've had some robust discussions this summer on identity theft for small businesses. And next month, we will have a special enrollment time focusing on healthcare. There's some changes coming up with that. So we're bringing in some partners to educate people on that. So our navigators, again, help with making appointments when possible. We do intentionally overbook appointments because sometimes people don't show up. And I'm a believer in if we're here to volunteer, we want all of our time to be consumed helping people in your 3 or 4 hour shifts. So we do overbook, and the navigator gets to make nice if somebody has to wait because we were full. But in general, that's how we were able to help so many people. And then, they just kind of help in managing the site and the flow of people through. In this tiny room, we helped over 3,200 people last year. So that is as organized of chaos as you can hope to approach. And we had fun doing it too. Generally, you hear laughter and a lot of ha-has and happy moments as well. Our other role is as tax preparer, and that may be the hook that brought everybody in, but it's not necessarily for everybody. And if you start out as a tax preparer, your job's going to involve interviewing customers and reviewing their documents to make sure that they're complete, that they have everything. Employers make mistakes too. And if a taxpayer hasn't looked at their W-2 and finds out that their name is not Jane, then we can bring that to their attention where they have to get that fixed. And they can also refer customers to other services through our money menu and refer them back to our team, our navigators that can help with that. Preparers educate customers. That's how we get to the central part of our mission about financial empowerment. Again, many in our first years, people came in with unopened envelopes. So to sit there and teach them how to look at their W-2, to understand how much money they made in the year, to look at their withholding, to see that their employer offers a retirement plan, but they're not participating in it, to understand what states they have to also report in, is a lot of education from one little piece of paper. We'll multiply that out by the 40 some different types of documents that can be reported on the tax return, and you have a well of information to share with people. And there are opportunities to work in isolation. We're in an endemic now. Everybody will get sick. Most of the time will come down with COVID, but there are, protections against that. But if you don't really want to be around a lot of people, we also have a remote filing system in which thousands of people also send in their documents, and then we prepare those returns and communicate with them. So not quite an instantaneous process, but it works. So there are opportunities where you don't really have to talk to anybody. You might have to send them a chat message to say, I couldn't understand when your daughter Susie was born. So because people make mistakes. I love this quote from Lori, one of our volunteers. I could not have built the confidence at all without the reviews that were readily available when working with taxpayers. I believe in the mission commitment of the staff. I feel lucky to have had a chance to share in bringing that vision to life. Knowing I'm part of a team that has my back gives me faith that constructive criticism will always be welcome. And that is also true. So you're walking into a supportive environment, but an environment in which you might be reminded, hey, you want to lower your screen down so not everybody can see what's going on, or don't forget to do this or that because we had an issue. But it's all that is to help all of us and our work shine and to be as accurate as possible. We do seek out coordinators, and happy when people are like, gee, I would like to do that next year, which is just really supporting other volunteers, reviewing returns, coordinating the site, doing the e-filing and attending to the responses to that. And, you know, it's a little more work, and so that comes with a little bit of compensation for time. We have site administrators, which is another role. Since everything we do is all paperless, those files have to be moved from shared folders into a secure folder at the end of every day at the minimum, and sometimes throughout the day. And they can assist in e-filing, talking with any customer whose return may have rejected for some issue, and trying to repair that. There are other roles as well, and we frequently have a student intern from one of the local universities who's doing his or her studies. We frequently get an AmeriCorps team to join us. In fact, they asked us to host 2 teams this year. Yes, but at different times. I couldn't take more than 1 team at a time. It's a wonderful service, national service project, and great enthusiasm, and it's nice being surrounded by young people who know a lot about computers. And right, and not to distract from us, but you know,
Just say it like young.
yeah. They just give us a little more energy. It gives me hope that someone will be there to take care of me when I eventually become elderly. But really, anybody could volunteer with us in a variety of ways, cleaning, making snacks, or because, you know, we do like to keep our volunteers fairly well fed, at least with some knickknacks and some sugar, some chips, something when you can take a little break to keep it going. And then sometimes there are project-specific helpers that we seek. So a lot of that happens at this time of year when we're updating books and manuals and things like that. So there's room, even if, gee, I came in to do this, but maybe I could do that. So it's just a matter of dialogue. These are our locations generally around town. Sometimes we set up mobile clinics on a 1 or 2 time basis, but these are established sites in Douglas County. We have this office at 36 and Q, part of Family Housing. We have the Douglas County Housing Authority at 108th and Fort. We have Habitat for Humanity in North Omaha near 24th and Hamilton. And we have Metropolitan Community College, the Fort Omaha campus. That's our site that's open on Sundays. And depending on how many volunteers, Saturdays and Sundays, because there's not many classes in competition. There's lots of parking there, and it's a very fun place to work. In Sarpy County, we're at Bellevue University in the University Library, and that's where we've been for a few years. And then in Pottawatomie County in Council Bluffs, we're at the Public Library at 4th and Willow, or at Habitat for Humanity at 12th and Main. And then we have our remote filing site called Tax 360 Secure Drop. That's done through our website that customers create a profile on it, submit their documents. We receive those documents, prepare the tax returns, send the tax returns to them for their review along with documents and opportunities to have that reviewed in person, online, if they have questions. Most of our customers using that are just fine. They know that we do a good job. They look it over, they sign. And when we get that signature back, that's sent. But we're certainly open to explaining any and everything to everyone. So we prepare those returns about twice a week. The beginning of the week is downloading all of that and opening the initial return, and some of it preloads. The rest is just going through their tax documents and plugging that into the software to create the return. Now we come to the critical part, next steps, but I'll pause in case there's a question there. Anything so far? Good. Okay. So your success in volunteering is also important to us. We want you to have a good experience and a fun time. The way that starts is on our website. You click on the little tile called Join Our Team. Angelica, I think you're the only one that I don't have a volunteer application from. Everyone else online does. We can do that tonight. I have a tablet here. Very simple thing. And then our website has this icon called the Vault on it. When you fill in an application, you're automatically enrolled in the Vault. And this is where all volunteers go to sign up for service hours, to choose other options throughout the year. And then there are buttons there to learn more or to click on the application. So anybody who's listening to this online, the number one takeaway would be go to our website, omahaeitc.org, click on Join Our Team, fill in an application, and that starts the communication with our team. The Vault is where you go to return to sign up for service hours. You'll be sent individual class links, and then there will be practice opportunities and other events throughout the year for you to do. So when you fill in your application, do remember to write down your login name is your email, whatever you're using, and you are invited to select a password. So write your password down. Excuse me. There is a reset password line on there if you forget it, or you can always ask any of us on the team, and that's a password we can reset. And we do have a free tax prep program. No support. We don't do it. Just that's there for people that want to just do their own and don't want us involved. So our website has a lot of info on it. Once you're inside the Vault, you'll see calendar dates with little help wanted signs, or it might say one opening. I think they've changed the language a little bit. You click on it and you say 17 more openings. Well, yes, and we kind of put as many slots as we think we need for things. So things like orientation have 30 slots, and here are the 9 of us tonight. Yay. So there's still 21 slots open. But don't be put off by that. If you sign up, then it confirms on your calendar what you said you were going to work at. And those are just examples, and we'll learn about that in the training. So for tax preparers, and this would be for new tax preparers, I'll talk about returning volunteers in a moment. So if you have not done taxes at all with us in that mission focus, understanding the additional services we also offer, and our approach to customer service and quality, you really have to take the full course. Most of it is recorded, and most times, aside from the beginning, when we make sure everybody's comfortable with the platform, then we meet once a week in person. And that's a very practical, practice-oriented class. But the other day of the week, Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, whatever it is, you are watching those recordings at home and doing your self-study. And you'll have all materials and access to software and everything on a USB for the websites that we use. So that's a good opportunity. Classes are forming, and everybody will have this opportunity. Doesn't have to be tonight, but you'll get this PowerPoint with the class registration. So new volunteers, fill in your name and email just so I know who it is. And then you choose which class you would prefer, your first choice and your second choice. Now, we may have the ability to add more classes, but for right now, based on responses we're getting, we're going to stick with a Monday, Wednesday evening class from 5:30 to 8:30 when we meet in person. You need about 3 hours to really practice everything that we're doing section by section. Or Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 4 p.m. The week of Labor Day, Monday, of course, is the holiday. So the classes would start that Thursday, that Wednesday, and that Thursday. And that's just orientation. Get all your materials. Here's what we're going to be doing. See you next week. So it isn't an all day kind of thing. Our class policies allow you to miss classes because they are recorded. You can come back in and study. We have study Saturdays peppered throughout the calendar so that if you need to get away and catch up on some homework or watch some recordings and not be around the kids or your spouse, this is the place to go. And that lets people catch up on that. So at the end, anybody that feels ready, you can fill that out, or I'll be sending those links along with the presentation at the moment. Get back to our presentation there. So the classes are there. They meet for 3 hours. As I say at the beginning, we meet both Monday and Wednesday, but then by the second week of September, we're down to just once a week. So that really does free up any time you have to be on. But if you think about I'm signing up for Monday and Wednesday, then you make Monday night your study night and Wednesday's the day you come into class, I believe is how we set it up, or Tuesday and Thursday. Since you're studying and preparing twice a week, that also becomes a good indicator and helpful to us for planning. Could you volunteer twice a week for a 3 or a 4-hour shift? Sometimes some of our sites are only open for the 4 hours, and well, if you can come for the majority of that, even better. So there's flexibility there. So all of our courses are free, but your time during tax season is your payment for the learning and the tools that you get. And that is how we are able to help people. Our site navigators, their training starts a little later in the year, mostly because our prepare courses tend to fill our days. So those courses will begin in December. They have a shorter thing. I think it's about 16 hours for a site navigator. They're also 3-hour slots. And then they're also offered in January. Our Saturday class is really intended to be our returning navigator class. For returning volunteers that want to be a preparer, you will get the complete syllabus. You're welcome to pop into any class. Oh, gee, I really feel rusty. I'm doing a W-2, so come to the W-2 class. Great. Or maybe business or rental property. That's wonderful as well. But there will be 4 or 5, we haven't completely defined it yet, in-person classes for returning volunteers that aren't on the schedule. And they may be well, that will also be probably hybrid. We'll do 2 online and 3 in-person heavy duty practice. But it won't be that much. And that will be your minimum participation in training for the year. But if you feel like, well, I took the course last year and I learned a lot and I should probably take the course again, you certainly may. So if that's the case, wait for an email where I'll invite you to either sign up for one of the full courses, or we'll specify the dates of our meetings for the others. They'll be at convenient times and evenings. And all of those will also be recorded. So we're trying to make it easier, especially for volunteers who've been with us 10+ years, to not have to go through all the hoops again. Each of our courses will help you navigate and understand tax law and the relationship with state returns. And we kind of approach it in this Russian doll model that breaks out all of what the 1040 is involved with and all the things you have to remember and explain to your customer after completing their return. So that takes a little while to learn that. What we expect, please, good communication. Once I start sending you emails, please just respond. I'll be there. I can't make it. I have this. And that's fine. That's what communication is all about. Then we're not wondering, are you trapped on the L Street Bridge? You know, and you should have been here at 6 o'clock and you're not. Please pay careful attention to our procedures and processes. That makes it easier for us as a nonprofit to report all of our outcomes. So I can't keep track of 60 people's individual schedules. So we have the vault to help me do that, to know, yep, you were there, you signed in, you signed out. I know how many hours you gave, etc. We do expect you to complete your homework timely and then to be prepared and ready for tax season. If you get to the end of the course and you've never turned in a homework assignment of a fake tax return, we're going to have questions about whether you can really handle that when you are with a real person and working with their real money. We do take that very seriously. Most of our customers can ill afford a mistake that's going to cost them $1,000 or more. So we want to be sure that we know what we're doing and doing well enough. Everything is reviewed, everything is supported, but training is where you should make your boo-boos. Training's where it's perfectly fine to screw that up. Because that's often how we learn too, by making mistakes. So mistakes are wonderful. I love them. I make a ton of them every day. And I'm an extrovert. Our training platform is user interactive. It helps you keep track of your own progress. It remembers what recording you left off on. It will remind you haven't done your quiz. It will remind you that your homework has not been turned in. So those kind of things. And I believe that we're all adult learners. With those kind of reminders, what do you need me for? Telling you that I haven't got your homework yet. So teamwork makes dream work. We do not do this on our own. We do it together. And that's really important. The most important thing is, do you want to help other people? That is a rarity in today's world. And in this ever-growing electronic world, ever more compromised, ever more violent world, in-person assistance is invaluable to people. And that's where we also make community. I love our customers. I love them so much, I named drinks after them. And most of them who have a drink named after know it, because it becomes a good way to celebrate, you know, things. So what we don't expect that anybody is an amazing math genius. I'm not good at math at all. We don't expect you to understand taxes right away. That's what we're doing together. And we certainly do not expect you to work on your own. So all of our sites will always have somebody, one or two, who are definitely there, but they don't show up on the vault. And then the rest of the slots are for as many as can come and join us. So we have 16 stations in this office. You could be working on a team of 18 to 20 people. And that's really a lot of fun. Some other locations are smaller. You might be down to only 4 preparers and a navigator, and a coordinator and another staff person. So, you know, it adds up, but we don't do anything on our own. So we certainly understand that your personal lives can be hectic at times. So if you're sick, stay home, because we don't want you to pass that sickness on to anybody else. We're not quite as worried, and we have suspended any of our COVID protocols, though we still have sanitizing spray around and hand sanitizer, and you are encouraged or welcome to wear a mask when working in the winter time indoors with people you don't know. That can be a good thing, but we don't have any expectation of that for this year. We do encourage you to get flu shots, your COVID vaccine, or other vaccinations according to your doctor's recommendation. We don't check that, we just encourage it. If you have a tool available to you, use it, and if that keeps you from getting sick, great. If you get overwhelmed during a shift, helping a particular customer, you don't need permission to take a break. Just don't take the next customer. Take those few minutes to go outside and clear your head, sit in your car and scream. I often will go out and have a smoke. You know, if you're hungry, there's a break room at most locations where you can sneak away to eat something, either that you've brought and left in the fridge and reheated in the microwave, or eat a bag of chips or have a candy bar or something to perk you up, a soda, whatever you need. Your spouse wants to take you on a romantic trip to the French Riviera, by all means go. I don't care if you're gone for 2 weeks in the height of tax season. You should be on the French Riviera with your lover. That's what life is about. And when you get back, there will still be people to help. So that's okay too. Again, communication is the key for that. There's not a lot new that we know yet. There are significant state laws that are coming into play this year. There are maybe a few tweaks to tax law that will happen depending on whatever happens vis-a-vis elections and whatnot, or roadblocks is more often the congressional approach lately. The current tax law expires this coming year. So this is still under the previous tax law that we had for the last few years. So no major changes as far as procedures and how that's done in our software. We use a software called Drake, but the next year will be something to advise people of how to get ready for whatever may happen. So we don't know. That's going to depend on who the president is, who the Congress is, and what they decide to do, because tax law expires on December 31st, 2025. So they have to have something pretty much ready to go in the coming year, you'd think. Or they'll kick the can down the road for a year or two. We don't know, but there are significant potential changes coming. We still encourage customers to use our secure drop system, that we can then help them all along without worrying about their particular timeline. And, you know, again, I just look for inspiration from any source I can get. And I love this quote from Justice Ginsburg, that if you want to be a true professional, you'll do something outside of yourself. Step out of your box. Something to repair the tears in your community. Something to make life a little better for people less fortunate than you. That's what I think a meaningful life is, living not for oneself, but for one's community. And it's not a full-time job, it's for a 3 or 4 hour shift. I'm living for the community now. And that can be remarkably rewarding. And it enriches and deepens each of us. That's the beauty of working as a volunteer. We do have flyers on the intake desks here that you can take, or you can get them from our website and refer people to our last orientation, but we'll also make this recording available through our Facebook and YouTube channel. So even if someone still wants to join us by mid-September, they can. We just encourage them to watch the recording and to sign up for the links, and we'll make those very clear to everyone. And then finally, there's all of our contact information should you need to reach us. Ginny and I exclusively use cell phones, so we're available through early evening. I'm available through late evening. And then Elizabeth, that's our main office landline, to reach out to her Monday through Friday before 4 p.m. And she's very good about also returning messages when our days get busy. Our website has helpful info. Our Facebook page, we encourage, try to keep that up and active. And then our YouTube channel is got both a customer section, a volunteer section, and another section. So feel free to check out those venues and reach out to us. I'm going to pause the recording now. And as soon as I can get that to match up.